In the final non-conference game of the season for both schools, the Bronx had a 5-game win streak snapped last time out against UMass. NC State has won 5 in a row. It's the Wolfpack in Bronx next on the ACC Network Extra. You're watching college basketball on the ACC Network Extra. We're here in Raleigh, North Carolina, inside the PNC Arena as the 10-2 NC State Wolfpack square off with the 8-4 Rider Bronx out of the MAC. Hello, everyone. So glad you could join us here tonight. Alongside Chucky Brown, I'm Andrew Sanders. We're in for a good one. It's the final non-conference game for both of these teams. They want to get in the right mindset and in the right win-loss column as they head into conference play. Here's the senior leader for a very veteran Rider Bronx team, the big man Khalil Thomas, averaging almost a double-double this year, Chucky.
Yeah, Khalil Thomas has been really good this year. I think that in order for Rider to stay in the game and have an opportunity to win the game, he has to stay out of foul trouble and continue to put forth the effort that he has been doing.
13 points a game and just a hair under 10 rebounds per game. For the NC State Wolfpack, Rider, very good defensive team, but trying to deal with an offense that has plenty of options. 5 guys are in double-figure scoring. That doesn't include Omer Yurtseven.
Yeah, Yurtseven will get in there, but that just shows the depth of NC State. That shows that the open man is getting the ball, and no one's out there being selfish. So, you have 5 guys averaging double figures. That's really great for your team, and Rider also has the same thing.
No doubt about it. Both teams, everyone in the starting 5, averaging double figures, although the NC State starting 5 has changed for this game. It's the first career start for the freshman phenom, Omer Yurtseven. Rider controls the tip, and we are underway. Norville Carey winning the tip for the Bronx. Here's Jimmy Taylor, the senior shooting guard.
Good ball pressure by NC State. They came out in a man-to-man, tried not to let Rider get any confidence going.
Taylor will pull the trigger for 3, splash on his first shot.
Yeah, Rider is not really known as a three-point shooting team. They're a team that likes to get it into the paint, so that really looks good for them early.
Yeah, that's a big confidence booster if Taylor can knock down that shot, as Torin Dorn misses about a 10-footer from the baseline. You said it, they're averaging just 27% from deep this season.
Yeah, that right there is what they do. Stevie getting the ball and attacking the basket. Rider is really good at attacking the basket, getting those hustle points. So NC State will have to match their intensity and get their level up and not let Rider get any confidence going.
Kevin Baggett, the Rider coach, in his 5th season. MAC Coach of the Year in 2015. After the team was picked 7th, they ended up finishing 2nd in the conference. Interestingly enough, Rider also picked 7th this year in the MAC, but they've already gotten a win over Siena as Terry Henderson will just dice to the hoop and miss the bunny.
Yeah, Terry Henderson has to make those plays. Rider that time did not get back on defense. You have to capitalize on other teams' mistakes.
As I was saying, the Bronx, they beat Siena, who was picked 2nd in the MAC, so they're feeling optimistic as they roll further into conference play. They're already 1-1 in the MAC.
Yeah, they're a veteran team, so they're not going to be afraid. They're not going to get big-eyed and see this arena and be, just happy to be here. They're coming to win.
Here's Dennis Smith Jr., and his torrid shooting pace continues, Chucky.
Yeah, well, he has to grow. There's a learning curve. Anytime a freshman comes into play, especially in the ACC, there's going to be a learning curve. So he's still learning, and as he learns, he'll get better.
Strong drive inside, but Thomas misses it a bit short. Dennis Smith Jr. now 11 of 15 in his last 15 three-pointers, as we've got a whistle. And the foul will go against Stevie Jordan, the freshman point guard.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Dennis. He has to try to get Stevie Jordan in some foul trouble because Stevie Jordan is what makes Rider go.
Mark Gottfried in his 6th year at NC State. Good pass inside, Abu. And there is Omer Yurtseven.
Nice touch by the big fella. He just got it on the rim, and it just kind of laid around and rolled around in there.
NC State's already had a couple of those shots come out of the basket. That one able to drop in. And Thomas with a pretty right-handed hook.
Yeah, that was a nice move. He went left, then came to a nice little jump stop, turn around, shot a nice little jump hook. That's a shot that's tough to block and tough to stop.
Oh, and they're going to have to credit that basket. Are they going to give it to Abu? He was nearest to it, but it got thrown in by Thomas. One of the more odd plays you'll see.
Right. Well, Thomas that time came over with good help and saw the lob coming.
No finish from Xavier Lundy. And this game so far, just a couple of minutes in, it's got good pace to it, Chucky.
Yeah, it's got great pace to it. I think that for Ryder, though, the score has to be low. Around the 70-75 mark. If it gets up a little bit above that, I think that's the advantage NC State.
Thomas can step out as well, but that one well off the mark.
Yeah, somebody left the door open that time because that was off the mark to the right.
Henderson, good dish inside. Yurt 7 already finished one with the right hand. He couldn't get the left to fall this time, and there's some numbers for Ryder here.
Yeah, Ryder is getting it up and down. I don't think that they're not really used to that style of play, and they don't really have the bodies to play like that. But, you know, hey, if you're feeling it, go ahead. You really have nothing to lose, so you might as well play like that.
Jimmy Taylor will be charged with the foul on Torrin Dorn. He was shooting, so he'll step to the line for 2 free throws. It's just the second ever meeting between the Wolfpack and the Bronx. Oh, and I take it back. It wasn't a shooting foul.
Yeah, I thought it was
the whistle came after the shooting motion had certainly been initiated.
Right. Well, glad we're not officials, huh?
They've got a tough job.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Tougher than my job. We're really feeding the ball inside to Yurt 7. He misses point blank once again, though.
Yeah, that's where NC State needs to go, get the ball down in the paint, but Yurt 7 has to finish that. He's bigger than anybody out on the floor, and he has to be able to absorb that contact.
The ball denial from Abu leads to a transition opportunity. Yurt 7 will win the jump ball. And you see that size just towering over the Ryder Bronx, who no one starting is over 6'7".
Right, yeah, well, NC State has a size advantage, so the game they should be trying to get the ball in the paint, and Ryder has come out in a man-to-man defense, so it should be a little easier to get the ball in the paint.
Stevie Jordan surveys the floor. He's the lone freshman to go along with 3 seniors and a grad student, and Xavier Lundy with a nice move to score it up and over Dorn.
Yeah, that was a what we call a grown man move right there. So he went right with 2 dribbles, kind of gave a nice little shoulder shimmy to Dorn and got the shot off.
Yurt 7 will roll one in this time, and he's got now 3, 4, 5 shots in that very close range, point-blank range.
Yep, but that's where NC State has to go. And no one can block his shot or affect his shot, so he should be able to have a good game in the paint against Ryder.
Norville Carey doing a nice job getting into the body of Yurt 7. He draws the foul on the freshman. Will head to the under-16 timeout with a Wolfpack with a 3-point lead. Back here in Raleigh, North Carolina, NC State 11, Ryder 8. And Chucky, as we look at the Ryder Bronx, this is a team, as we said, offensively, not a great shooting team. They don't stand out. You see 3-point field goals, free throw line as well. They really don't stand out, but they're pretty good at rebounding the basketball. We saw right before the break an offensive rebound by Norville Carey led to a foul, and now he'll go to the strike. Right,
well, that's a part of the hustle game. You know, they miss shots and they provide second opportunities for their offense. So NC State has to match that, or Ryder will, because they're not a good shooting team, and NC State has that size advantage on the end. If NC State can score on the other end and make it tough for them to get second shots on the other end, NC State can pull away a little quicker. But Ryder, that's their way of staying in the game.
And Norville Carey has been a great story for the Bronx. He's a graduate student from not the U.S. Virgin Islands, where NC State played earlier this year in the Paradise Jam, and where Tim Duncan is from, but he's from the British Virgin Islands.
Right, the British Virgin Islands. I got to get down there sometime. Nice weather.
No doubt about it. And he transferred over from Southern Miss and has been a key factor for Ryder this season.
Yeah, Ryder has gone to a 2-3 zone now, which is good. They can hide some of the fouls, keep guys out of foul trouble as well.
And there is Carey taking the basketball away from Abu. And Taylor will try another 3. Had a little side spin on that shot, and it won't fall.
Yeah, that was sort of a quick shot. Ryder needs to get the ball moving a little bit and more so take rhythm threes, not such quick shots, unless you're like a pure shooter, like a Reggie Miller guy or something like that. And that's another bad shot by Dennis Smith as well. So, the ball needs to move and you get a rhythm three.
B.J. Anya is going to be guilty of the foul on Thomas.
Right.
Looked like Anya got the ball up top, might have got him with the body as well.
Yeah, well, it's hard for Anya not to hit you with the body. So Thomas just outran him, and he was in front of B.J., so B.J.'s going to hit you.
B.J. Anya, the big body, he's the leading shot blocker in NC State history, 226 blocks and counting.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment. I'd like to see how many block shots he had in practice as well. So I'm sure he probably is the all-time practice block shot leader as well.
Thomas, the senior from Parkway, Florida, to the free throw line. Too strong, and it's rebounded by Ted Capita, seeing his first minutes for NC State. Also into the contest is Maverick Rowan. Same starting five, still out there for Coach Baggett and the Bronx.
Yeah, you needed to add Maverick out there once they displayed that zone.
Strong take for Smith, and then he throws it away, trying to find Capita. And you see how good Ryder can be defensively. Active hands, and there's a block from Anya.
Right, yeah, Anya's in there to clog that middle, block those shots. And we have to finish. Well, NC State has to finish at the end.
It's a little 2-on-1. Jordan. And even when Anya doesn't block the shot, he certainly made an impact.
Right, he's such a big body. Maybe that time Stevie Jordan should have came and pulled up with a nice little pull-up. And if Anya commits, then you drop it off to the big fella for the dunk.
NC State 5 of 12 from the field so far, but several misses up close to the basket.
Yeah, Ryder has now switched back to a man-to-man defense. They've done a good job of switching defenses and keeping NC State a little confused.
I think Lundy got a piece of that one as Smith Jr. missed it again up close. They'll feed the post. And Carey just lost the handle.
Yeah, you can't run into B.J. Anya. You have to turn. He did the right thing by turning and facing, but once you try to back him down, that's, about 350? You can't. I don't see you backing that down. So you want to turn and face and beat him with foot speed.
And the 7'9" wingspan. You played against some elite shot blockers in the NBA. When you're going against a guy that has that kind of an impact, mentally, how difficult is that? Because it changes your game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes your game. It's a little difficult, but you have to try to get into their bodies and make them commit. Maybe commit a little early or whatever, and then you can get a shot off. But the shot to get off on a shot block is a jump hook because that's the hard shot to block.
Good hands here from NC State's Terry Henderson. You see he was telling the official, hey, I slapped it off his knee. And the official agreed. Our officials tonight, Clarence Armstrong, Brent Hampton, and Lamont Simpson.
Yeah, Ryder is hanging around, man. They're not going anywhere, so NC State is going to have to beat them. They're not going anywhere. They're not intimidated at all.
Off-balance three from Rowan. There's an offensive board. It's Ted Capita.
Yeah, that's what Ted Capita does. He hangs around the baseline and hangs around the basket, gets little putbacks and little dunks.
NC State needing a second chance point there, or a couple of points to be specific, as they hadn't scored in about 3 minutes. And right there, they're going to call a foul on Ted Capita, and I believe that they're saying that Capita was in his vertical space and was pressed up too close.
Right, yeah.
The officials getting together. Capita has to be pulled out of there.
Yeah, they've changed the rules on this, on the offense a little bit because the defense has been getting up under them. So, you have to make the game a little fair. So, it's a good call.
And so the officials are going to go to the monitor and look at this, and we'll see if we can't get a look at it as well. Right here, they feed the post to Thomas.
Oh.
And the question is, was Capita in his vertical space? That's what the official motion.
Right.
And if he was, then there's no foul. However, he was outside, and to me, I don't know about you, that looked pretty close, right on the borderline.
Right.
Let's see if we can't run it back again. But as he comes across, the offensive player has to be given that leeway to maneuver.
Yeah, I think Capita was right there. I don't think he was. It's close. It's close. So, I'll say it was a good call for now. But I didn't think that it was an intentional elbow. I thought he was just trying. He did the same move a couple of times down ago. So, I don't think that I think you got to give the offensive player a little bit of space.
And I agree with you. I certainly don't think there was any intent there. And it's a good thing that they've changed this rule because remember in years past, you would see a guy all up in his grill and then you
couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
See, years ago.
And then you get called for the technical for just trying to move.
Well, years ago when guys used to do that, you were coached to give them a nice little elbow or graze across the nose, so that they will give you your space. But then they changed that rule, and they made it so the defender can get all up under you. So now it's a good thing that they've changed it back because the defense had all of the advantage.
Sure.
So it's glad to even up. I'm glad they evened up the play a little bit.
And so the officials gone to the monitor, and there will be no foul, they say. No flagrant, they say. It's a cylinder play.
Okay.
And we appreciate the officials. As I said earlier, they got a tough job. They did a nice job with that one. So no foul on either player.
Right. That was an excellent call.
It was a cylinder play, classic cylinder. No one's ever like, whatever that means.
Here's a three. And Stevie Jordan is a bit short. So we've seen Ryder kind of settle for some three-pointers. Again, that is not their strong suit.
No.
And a block underneath. That was Tyre Marshall who got the ball. We'll see who gets the foul, and it will be Marshall as well.
Right, yeah, Ryder, that's a little out of character for their team to come down and shoot those three-point shots. They need to take rhythm threes where the ball is moving, the ball is passed inside out, and then those are better three-point shots for them.
Ryder just 1 of 6 from 3 so far as Dorn knocks down the free throw. And as we said, Jimmy Taylor knocked down that 3 right off the get-go, and that gave him some confidence. But now missing 5 straight, might have to reel it back in a little bit.
Yeah, that can be, fool's gold. You think you got it rolling that night. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody wants to jump in and shoot threes. When that's not your game, that's out of character for your team.
Say, hey, we're on the road. This is the first time playing in this building, but the lights in here are nice. I like the way it looks.
Yeah, they're coming in. They don't have anything to lose, but you still got to play your game. To have a chance to win, you have to play within your game. And right now, Ryder's not playing within their game by taking those three-point shots.
A couple of new players into the game for Ryder. Here's Keelan Washington Ives. Gets it inside to Marshall. Left-handed shot, boarded up by Capita once again.
Yeah, that was a tough shot. BJ held his ground. You're not going to back him down, so he needs to turn and face BJ and try to make BJ move his feet.
Capita, good rebounder, averaging about 5 a game in less than 17 minutes. Here's a wide open 3. It's Rowan in the corner.
Yeah, that was a nice drawing kick, but the corner help didn't come in so much, so Maverick had to rush that shot a little bit.
That foul will go against Dennis Smith Jr. That is his second for NC State. So we'll head to break. Ted Capita hitting the boards hard. The Wolfpack with an early 15-10 advantage. Tomorrow we'll have a bowl triple header for you on ESPN, starting with South Florida and South Carolina in the Birmingham Bowl at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then Arkansas battles number 22 Virginia Tech in the Belk Bowl at 5:30. And our last game is a great one. Number 12 Oklahoma State takes on number 10 Colorado in the Valero Alamo Bowl at 9. All 3 games are also available on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. It is the holiday season. That also means it's bowl season. NC State winning the Independence Bowl the day after Christmas over a Vanderbilt squad.
Yeah, I watched that game. That was a good victory for NC State and a good way to vault themselves into next season.
Yeah, always so much momentum going into next year. It's interesting because in college football you can do that. In college basketball, you can say make the Sweet 16 and you're still ending the year on the loss, and it doesn't seem to have that quite the same momentum.
Right. It doesn't, and both sports seem to be year-round, and it still doesn't have that same feel, though.
Offensive rebound for Ryder, and it's Jimmy Taylor. Here's Dennis Smith Jr. Watch out.
Yeah, that time Ryder got a couple of extra shots, but they didn't take their time. They need to try to run the clock down a little bit and get NC State moving a little bit and try to get something going to the basket and not settle for jumpers.
3 offensive rebounds so far for the Bronx, and Capita's going to be called for a kick here. By the way, that steal by Dennis Smith Jr., already his 24th steal of the season. Remember, he's in there with 2 fouls, but he's just so active in the passing lanes.
Right, that time Ryder was a little bit relaxed with the ball, and it looked like Dennis wasn't paying attention, and then when he threw the pass, he's such a good athlete, he was able to just like spring into action.
Talking about bowl season, that looked like a defensive back just baiting the quarterback into a pick.
Exactly.
Carey, little herky-jerky move, and he'll score it.
Yeah, that was a nice little shot right there. Stevie Jordan got the ball down there. And then again, that's in the paint. That's where Ryder needs to be going and get the ball moving, get NC State bodies moving.
Tip pass. Capita will give it back to Henderson. And they'll look to reset.
Yeah, Ryder has very active hands, so NC State needs to be careful with these passes.
Smith Jr. looks to create. He'll step back, and there he is.
Yeah, that's a nice shot by Dennis Smith. He did a lot of extra stuff there, and maybe want to conserve a little bit more energy on the shots, though.
Lundy maybe a little bit out of control. 7-point lead, the largest for the Wolfpack in this game. And we've got action underneath. I think this is going to go against Yurt 7.
Yeah, it was against him. I think he threw his arm up, or the referee is saying that he kind of held his defender back. But that's where NC State needs to go. Whenever they get an opportunity, get it inside, try to get Ryder in foul trouble, get Yurt 7 off on the inside as well.
So look at the creativity of Dennis Smith Jr. Last time out, he was outstanding for NC State. He played just 20 minutes, yet scored 23 points and had 6 assists, 3 steals, and a couple of blocks. So he really filled up the stat sheet.
Yeah, that's being active when you're doing things like that.
Jordan looking to drive. Carey. Oh, he just lost it going up. It looked like he was going to throw down the hammer.
Yeah, he was going to try to dunk it when he probably should have just went with a nice little layup off the glass. But, he's in this big arena, so he wants to hear some oohs and ahs maybe.
Abu and Capita decide who's going to take it. It'll be Abu. He can step out and knock that shot down.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better with that shot. You can tell what he's worked on in the offseason.
Xavier Lundy for 3, and the cold shooting continues.
Yeah, see, that was a quick shot. And like I said, Ryder needs to get the ball movement going and get rhythm threes. That right there was not a rhythm 3. That was just a quick shot.
We talked about how good Ryder is at hustling and getting those effort rebounds. Well, Ted Capita is doing that for NC State here. Right,
well, Ted Capita's matching Ryder's intensity, so they've gotten extra shots down here. So Capita has come in and gotten NC State a couple of extra shots as well, and NC State needs to match Ryder's intensity, and it's also tough to have that type of intensity after you come off with a quick shot like that on the other end, on the offensive end for Ryder. So I think that affected them on the defensive end.
Capita with 6 rebounds in just 6 minutes of action so far.
Yeah.
See, he misses the first free throw. He's also excellent at the free throw line.
Yeah, being very active out there, hanging around the rim, hanging around that baseline. You're going to get some balls that fall to you, but he's going after them today.
Ted Capita 15 of 19 from the line this season. Ryder, they need a basket on this possession. It's now double-digit lead for NC State, and the Bronx are just one of their last 12.
Right, Ryder needs to get something going to the basket, just like that. That's a good shot, though. See, they'll take that shot. That's a good shot. And the last time he had the same move, probably should have just pulled up on that last shot as well. But that's where they need to go. They need to get in the paint, get back into character, and be the team that they are.
Smith Jr. will take a long 2, and it's too long on the shot. Rebounded by Thomas.
Yeah, for Dennis Smith now, you got a nice 10-point lead. Now that's the time you want to pound it inside, not take those quick jumpers.
That'll take us to our under 8 timeout. The Wolfpack with its largest lead by 10 at the break. Andrew Sanders and Chucky Brown back with you here on the ACC Network Extra. It's NC State 22, Rider 12. Chucky, we talked about at the open of the show, and both of these teams have 5 players scoring in double figures. But Rider not getting a whole lot off the bench. NC State has been, particularly in the last 3 games. That's been when Omer Yurtseven has been coming off the bench.
Right. Omer, when he came back, that added a little more depth to NC State, a little bit more scoring. I mean, he played overseas professionally with some professional guys, so he's got some experience and played against grown men pretty much. And, you know, for Rider, they're just a veteran team. They're not going to play many guys. So those guys, the bench, it's going to be hard for them to get scoring off the bench unless somebody gets into foul trouble or something like that. But they're veteran guys, and they know how to play without getting into foul trouble.
Yeah, for Rider, this is a team that was already going to be fairly shallow on the bench.
Right.
And then they had a really solid freshman in Demencio Vaughn out for the year against Kennesaw State as he tore his ACL. And so now they're only down to 9 guys that will dress, and really at most 8 in the rotation.
Right, yeah, well, they're doing a good job at switching up defense as they just did. Look like they're going to a 1-2-2 zone defense. And that's where you attack it, in the middle. There's nobody in the middle in the 1-2-2. So that's exactly where you attack it.
Well, it helps to attack it when you have a 44-inch vertical at 6'8", and that's what Malik Abu did right there.
Yeah, that was a power dunk. Again, effort.
Norval Carey working really hard down low.
Yeah, well, he's outmatched size-wise, but effort-wise, he's not outmatched. So NC State has to match his effort, and if they can keep Rider from getting these second shots, they can creep away from him a little bit and make it even tougher and keep Rider taking those quick threes to maybe try to get back in the game.
As Carey makes the first, he's just a 58% free throw shooter. Malik Abu, so much potential. He kind of put his name in there and got some advice on whether he should go to the NBA or come back. The advice was, hey, you're pretty good. You're awfully athletic. Work on the jump shot and come back next year. We'll see where you are. So he's worked on that, but you see that athleticism is unreal. Yeah, well, it's good for players to test the waters, I'll say. There's nothing wrong with that. And, you know, see where you may end up. Nice find. That's a nice find right there. But it's okay for players to test the waters and see where you might end up. Malik Abu now 8.7 rebounds, so well on his way to a double-double.
Yeah, Dennis Smith has great vision that time. There was a lot of bodies in the way, and he still found him.
Foul underneath. This is going to be an offensive foul against Norval Carey. That's his first. By the way, when Carey went to the line just a moment ago, that was the second foul on Ted Capita. So right now for NC State, Yurtseven, Smith Jr., and Capita, all with those 3 fouls.
Right.
Well, here's that look.
Yeah, the look was all. There was a couple bodies right there, and Dennis Smith found him like he knew he was going to be there. So that's a good advantage of playing with a guy, you know, for a little while. And like I said, Dennis has a learning curve. I mean, and he's learning every day, and he's getting better each game out.
Henderson will curl around Capito. He'll try a 15-footer. A little too strong. Now, Chucky, I'm interested to know, long outlet pass first. Hold on a second. Khalil Thomas will score it. I'm curious to know, you know, there are some guys that are ready to go basically right out of high school. They'll play 1 year, they'll be the one and done, like a Dennis Smith Jr. Then there are other guys you say that it's good to, you know, play a couple years, test the waters. When you played, though, many more players were staying 3 and oftentimes 4 years. It's such a difference in the college game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's totally different. I mean, like back when I played, it was the norm unless you were special. Like, you know, excuse me, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson. Those guys were special. Mark Aguirre. You didn't come out early unless you were special. Now it's like if you come out and you pretty much have a good college year, you can go off that and you know, you go off that and get drafted. Whereas years ago it wasn't like that. You know, it's just a different time. And the NBA has gotten a lot younger now. When I came into the NBA, I had 13, 10, 11-year veterans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They, you know, those guys were 30 and up. So it's totally different now. You come to an NBA team now, you know, guys are in their 20s or 22, and they're the leaders of the team.
Right, that's right. Torin Dorn.
The quick shot right there, not good. Don't need to take those shots. You know, you're up 11, take some time.
Yeah, it was a contested three. Jordan penetrates, and it'll go the other way. Dennis Smith Jr. steps in there to take the charge.
Yeah, that was a good charge. That's one of the toughest calls in officiating is the block charge call. He tried to side jump him, but he wasn't successful doing it.
And there's a really good look by our crew.
That was a good call.
And I think you could see you don't even necessarily have to be set anymore, but
Right.
Smith Jr. was set
He
there.
was
That's
there.
going to be a charge all day.
Yes, he was there. That's the toughest call in basketball to make, and he was there.
So NC State up 11, but I tell you what, it could be an awful lot more. Ryder is shooting just 19%, and Malik Abu is now into double figures. That'll get a timeout from the Bronx bench and head coach Kevin Baggett as this lead has opened up. And, you know, as we talked about, we expected a Ryder, again, they don't shoot it tremendously well.
Right.
However, they've been able to kind of hang in here despite shooting less than 20%.
Yeah, well, if you'd have told me that they would be shooting less than 20% and be only down 13, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
So really, you know, Ryder, like I said, they've been out of character a little bit taking the threes. If they go ahead, get some good stops, and come down on the offensive end and attack the rim, they could cut this thing down slowly but surely. Because NC State definitely is helping them out a little bit by taking quick threes when they should come down and work it inside and maybe cause Ryder like that time to maybe get a basket or an and one or whatever, or try to get a foul.
So we'll have one more bowl game for you tonight on ESPN. 8-4 Texas A&M against 8-4 Kansas State. That's the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl. Also on Watch ESPN. Another offensive rebound for Ryder, and it's swatted away by Anya.
But if you're a Ryder, that's what you want to do. That's what you need to do. It just happens that you're going against the leading shot blocker in NC State history.
How about that? A little nimble move from BJ Anya.
Yeah, well, BJ looked like he could be an offensive lineman as well.
And the pass tipped away. Another athletic play by Abu. NC State is off and running. Feel the momentum going this way. And the crowd is fully into it.
Nice pass again. Dennis Smith not settling for the jumper. Get the ball, probe it a little bit, and find people, and that's what he's doing. He's got great vision.
That's already now 7 assists for Dennis Smith Jr. And another block shot. So a couple of blocks, a turnover, and after the timeout, Ryder, not what they were looking for. We're going to go to the under 4 timeout here. Maybe that will stop the Wolfpack momentum, but it's a 17-point lead as Dennis Smith Jr. dishing it out for all his teammates here after Christmas. NC State on a 6-0 run in the last minute and 15 seconds to stretch the lead out to 17. Along here with Chucky Brown, I'm Andrew Sanders. And Chucky, NC State getting it done defensively, getting it done with the phenom freshman point guard Dennis Smith Jr. 7 points, but already 7 assists.
Yeah, Dennis is controlling the game. He's penetrating. He's taking a couple of bad shots, but you expect that with a young player. So those can be excused, but he's getting the ball in the paint, finding guys. When he goes up to shoot, he's dropping it off. So he's dropping some dimes and looking really good.
And NC State, as this ball's taken away, good defensive positioning from Khalil Thomas. And it's important to note the Wolfpack 11 assists on 14 baskets, really sharing the ball well. And really Dennis Smith Jr. is the conductor of the orchestra.
Right. Well, that's why they have 5 guys averaging double figures, is because the open man is getting the ball. So, I mean, that's holding to be true tonight.
On the sweet jumper from Khalil Thomas, he now has 7 points. And off the ball, again, freedom of movement has been such a key, not just this year, but last year as well. And Terry Henderson was curling around the baseline, and he was held by Xavier Malone. That's his first foul.
Yeah, you can't really be as physical with guys running off screens like you used to be. So, I mean, the kids, they'll get used to how the officials call the game.
It's a 17 foul on the Bronx, and so Henderson shooting 1-and-1 makes the first. You know, Just his first point, you see he's almost averaging 17 points a game. Part of that big three, the trio for NC State, along with Dorn and Smith Jr., that are the second highest scoring trio in the ACC.
Yeah, well, Terry's a guy that you need out there on the floor. He's going to play defense, even if he's not scoring. It just so happens that he's been scoring, but he plays defense and does a lot of the little things that a team needs.
Xavier Malone off balance, and he'll find the twine.
Yeah, that's good defense by Dorn. He actually got a hand on the ball and caused a double pump on the shot. It was great concentration on the shot.
Anya just couldn't catch the entry pass from Dorn. But speaking of that trio, Pittsburgh has the highest scoring trio. Michael Young, Jamel Artis, and Cameron Johnson. They average 54.3 points per game.
Right.
But then the trio here at NC State, 50.8 points per game.
Wow, that's awesome. That trio from Pitt is pretty good as well.
Yeah, and then Duke's trio is in third, and they're actually outscoring Luke Kennard, Grayson Allen, and Emil Jefferson. Not by a lot, just by a couple decimals.
Right.
A couple tenths points, but still, it is one of the best trios in the conference. And again, down low, Anya and Abu rejecting nearly everything, it seems. Anthony Durham in there to follow it up.
Yeah, well, that's where Ryder has decided that, we were out of character early. Now we're going to start attacking the basket. Now they're attacking the basket and getting second shots. Good shot, my dude. You have to hit that shot, though. You have to, because Ryder is on a mini run, so you can stop that little mini run.
BJ Anya reaching in for the ball, and I tell you what, I think he probably got the ball there.
Right.
But it seems like those big guys, they'll penalize them if they go reaching in like that. Only the little guards can do that.
Only the little guards can reach and slap and grab and scratch. BJ that time.
You sound like a big guy.
Hey, I got scratches still on me from playing. So those little guys, sometimes you just want to shove them out the way, but you can't. That time BJ, if he would have just stayed with his arms up, with that reach, it would have been tough for Taylor to finish the shot.
A little pressure from Ryder here. And Smith Jr. able to break it with Abu's help. And then BJ Anya will just do a chin up on the rim.
Nice. Well, Dennis is making it so much easier for everyone else because you can't just double him. You doubled him and he got it back, and then he penetrated and found Anya just around the baseline.
Carey trying to score over Abu. And you see the depth of NC State in the front court. You're 7, Capita, and then Abu and Anya are dominating the game down low when they're in.
Right. Well, NC State has depth on the perimeter and in the paint. They've got a lot of bodies that they can throw at you.
Carey, offensive board. He'll go for another one, and boy, Anya just has that one scored out of his hands. It's retrieved by Smith Jr. So chance for 2 for 1 here for NC State.
Yeah, that time Carey, he's working. They're out there working. So if I'm the Ryder coach, I'm not upset with the effort from my guys. I'm also upset that we got out of character early, and now we're fighting from this deficit right now. And that right there you can't have as Ryder. You got to get those balls.
Terry Henderson, offensive rebound and a tip-in. And the shot clock is technically still on, but they could turn it off here. Ryder can hold it until the end of the half if they so choose. Durham penetrates, and that's got to be goaltending. Yeah,
that was goaltending. Sometimes shot blockers think they can block anytime they want to out there. That time, that was an easy call right there, and the shot might have been short.
Yeah, and there's some disputing from not only Anya, but also Mark Godfrey.
No, that's an easy call right there. But if I'm Godfrey, I'm going for my guy too. But well, that's an easy call.
I think they might have had a good point there. It looked to be pretty short. But
yeah, it was off.
Nonetheless, 15-point lead for the Wolfpack, and 10 seconds left for Dennis Smith Jr. to create something here. He'll step back. And so we'll head to the halftime break with the Wolfpack leading the Ryder Bronx by a 40-25 score. We'll step aside. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes for the halftime show here from the PNC Arena on the ACC Network Extra. Welcome back at the halftime break. Andrew Sanders joined by Chucky Brown. NC State with a 40-25 lead over the Rider Broncs. Here's a look at some other games across the ACC and a couple of big ones as we start conference play. Wake Forest, boy, they were up in the second half in Tallahassee, but number 20 Florida State able to hold on. And then another good one, Louisville and Kentucky, a battle of top 12 teams. And then something to keep an eye on, particularly for NC State and Rider fans, Monmouth, who was picked preseason number 1 in the MAC, they're in Chapel Hill tonight, and Rider will play Monmouth next on the 31st of December, and NC State will travel to Chapel Hill and take on North Carolina January 7th, just the 4th game of conference play. So you get a look at that scoreboard, some good ones, and boy, a lot of great matchups in the league to look forward to. Not all year long, really, but especially coming up here soon.
Yeah, well, the ACC is probably the deepest conference in the country.
I would agree.
Hands down. Hands down. So, each night is going to be a battle. And I know, like back, years ago, we only had 8 teams in the conference.
That's
so
right.
I can't even imagine now you got 14 tough opponents to play against. And like you said, Wake Forest was up against Florida State, playing well.
Yeah.
And Florida State is a pretty good team. Also, they have a lot of depth as well. I'm a little surprised at the Virginia score over Louisville. I wouldn't expect that Virginia would be up so early on. I would expect that to be sort of a grinded out type of game.
Yeah, a couple of really great defenses
really good
there.
defenses, really good coaches, and defensive-minded coaches. So, but I'm looking forward to the game coming up. I'm looking forward to being at the Carolina game in the stands as a fan.
Yeah, there you go.
Watching the game. So I'm excited about it. Probably as excited as the players. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, conference play will start for NC State and for Rider on the 31st. As again, Rider takes on Monmouth. NC State will travel to Miami. We'll take a break and be back in just a minute here on the halftime show on the ACC Network Extra. Welcome back, everyone, here at halftime in the PNC Arena. I'm Andrew Sanders alongside Chucky Brown. Glad to have you along here on the ACC Network Extra. Well, Chucky, at the break, NC State leads at 40-25, and a big reason why the Wolfpack shooting 50% from the field and Rider managing under 25%.
Right. Well, the thing that NC State is doing, they're playing pretty good on the defensive end on the initial shot. Now they have to limit Rider's second chance opportunities, and when Rider has missed and NC State has got to rebound, NC State has been able to get out and not have to set up any offense and be able to probe a little bit. Dennis Smith Jr. is able to probe a little bit and drop off a nice little dime right here to Abu with a little help right there, but still, there's a nice pass. And right there, he's able to penetrate, drop it off to Dorn, and hit a nice little shot right there. So with the way that Dennis Smith is penetrating and finding people, that's made it easy, shot opportunities easy for NC State.
You saw the biggest highlight of that first half was the emphatic dunk from Malik Abu, but Dennis Smith, this is an entire package. He's got a lot of assists in this package. 9 points for him, but also 8 assists, well on his way to a double-double.
Right, well, he's a very unselfish guy. He has great vision, and he does a great job when he gets in the lane and is able to probe a little bit.
You see both teams pretty cold from the outside, but overall, NC State 17 field goals to just 9 for Rider, and most importantly, on those 17 makes for the Wolfpack 12 assists. And so we'll take one more break here at halftime before we come back for second half action here on the ACC Network Extra. Tonight, after the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl, catch SportsCenter at night with Neil Everett. How's it? He'll have all the highlights from the bowl games as well as the NBA, NHL, college hoops, NFL news, and everything else from your Wednesday. SportsCenter at night after Texas A&M, Kansas State on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Alongside Chucky Brown, I'm Andrew Sanders, back here and just about a minute away from starting things off here in the second half. Chucky, we talked about how NC State has shared the ball in this game, and the Wolfpack already with 12 assists, really being led by Dennis Smith Jr., who again has 8. But this is not anything new for a Wolfpack team. Over the last 3 games, perhaps coincidentally since Omer Yurtseven has been back, Maverick Rowan, basically Mark Gottfried's team is at full strength. The last 3 games, NC State has had its 3 highest assist outputs of the season. They had 19 assists against Appalachian State, 25 against Fairfield, and 18 last time out. And so this has become a common trend since they've been whole.
Right. Well, I think it's a lot of confidence when you add back Maverick Rowan and Omer Yurtseven. I think that everyone is more confident. So I think you're not as hesitant to pass. I think one time we saw where BJ might have missed a pass. They might not have thrown him that pass early if they know they didn't have, Yurtseven and those guys here. So they threw him the pass because there's more confidence in everybody, and everybody's level of play has picked up, and the sharing of the ball, the open man getting the ball, that shows that no one cares who gets the glory. So, I mean, that has helped NC State out a lot.
And when you add 2 players that can score the ball, it's going to help your bench points. Now, for Ryder, yes, they're trailing by 15 at the half. It's not an insurmountable number, and really considering that they only shot just less than 24% in that first half and 1 of 8 from 3-point range, they've got to feel like really 15's not that bad.
Right. Well, it's not that bad because they should have been down more than that, shooting such a low shooting percentage.
Right.
So what they need to do is basically on the defensive end, get stops, limit NC State to 1 shot, and limit the easy baskets for NC State. And on the other end, continue to attack the rim. Don't get out of character and start shooting these 3-point shots. And if you're going to take threes, let them be rhythm threes where the ball has moved a little bit or there's been some inside-out type of play. Then you shoot the 3-point shot. But don't just come down 1 passing shot because that's not their game.
Ryder's going to start off with his zone. Omer Yurtseven, after picking up those 2 fouls in the first half, didn't play much. He'll start the second half, and Abu will throw it away.
Right, that was a tough pass for Abu, kind of over the shoulder, and had too much distance in between that pass.
That 3 in rhythm for Lundy, but he can't knock it down. And away go the Wolfpack.
Yeah, that time, that's not a super bad shot, but when you're down 15, you might want to get a little bit more ball movement and try to get some bodies moving on NC State. Maybe try to pick up some fouls on NC State.
Dorn just dribbled it right off of his shoe. And that's the 8th NC State turnover. Now, we're talking about Ryder's shooting woes, and as a whole, as a team, they don't shoot it particularly well. But the one common opponent for these 2 schools is in the MAC, Fairfield, the Stags. NC State able to beat Fairfield by 20 points here at home a couple of games ago. There's a nice finish inside by Carey. And Ryder losing at home to Fairfield by 10. But in that game, Coach Baggett said, we've just got to shoot it better. They just didn't shoot it very well, and they answered with a win over Siena just a couple of nights later. And again, that's one of the favorites of the MAC. And so when they don't shoot it well, I mean, I'm kind of a obviously point, but when they don't shoot it well, particularly with their size, they're going to get beat by just about anyone. But when they're shooting at the height of their capability, they are able to contend with some of the better teams.
Yeah, they need to make the games ugly, like real gritty and real grimy type of game, because they need to get stops on the other end, make teams work on the other end, and when you come down on this end, they need to attack the rim. That time they missed the free throws, but they got what they wanted. The last basket by Carey, it was in the paint, and that's where they need to attack. It's in the paint in order to get back in this game, because they've gotten 2 stops and a turnover down here already.
See, you're at 7 holding that ball high. And they work it around. Abu to Dorn. They get a lay-in. To your point about Ryder needing to make it a gritty game as Johnson goes quickly. And the fight for the rebound comes away to Abu. Boy, Henderson thought about the alley-oop. Instead, he'll find Smith, and he'll initiate the offense. Kick ball by Carey. To your point, though, partner, when it's that gritty kind of game, it's a scrappy game.
Right.
The Broncs are 6-0 this year when they hold their opposition under 70 points. Obviously not on pace to do that with 40 put up by the Pack in the first half, but that's the kind of game that they need. If they keep you under 70, they're going to win.
Yep. I said that earlier. If they could get the game, I said 70, 75. If they keep it around there, they have a chance to win. But if the score gets up, because they don't shoot it well, that's why they will have problems.
$18 on the shot clock for Smith Jr. Well, Yurtseven has some really good rotation on that shot.
Yeah, that's money for him. That's an easy shot for him. He shoots the ball very well from the perimeter. He can even stretch the floor a little bit as well.
And you got to figure in this UCLA high post offense, if Mark Gottfried was, creating an ideal big man to play in that system, he would have a lot of the attributes that Yurtseven does.
Exactly.
Oh, Dennis Smith Jr. nearly cocked back and jammed it.
Yeah, well,
Jordan knocked it away.
On this level, you can't wait for a guy and look at him. Maybe on the high school level, but he's like I said, he's learning. Those type of
that's a
cock
clean,
it back.
I tell you what, that's a clean block right there.
Good block. Yeah, you can't look at guys like that.
And Stevie Jordan's talking to the official right now because that's his third foul.
Yeah.
And all he can do is shake his head.
Well, Stevie Jordan's not a bad athlete. I watched him in warm-ups dunking it, and I couldn't believe how high he was getting off the floor. So he's a pretty athletic kid as well. Like I said, but on this level, you can't do that type of stuff. I did it as a young high schooler coming in from high school to college, looking at guys, and they don't play that on the collegiate level. I don't care what level they're playing on.
Now 11 points for DSJ. It's certainly a step up. Couple of freshman point guards that are really in many ways leading their respective teams. I know Jordan's on the court with 4 seniors, but he's really been running the offense. And, as a freshman, we can have high hopes as Lundy will finish with the left. You can certainly have some expectations for a guy, but you never really know what you get until he laces them up and steps onto the court. And Jordan's turned out to be really good already. Right.
Well, there's a learning curve for Jordan as well, and Jordan has been really good this year, and he still has a lot to learn and a lot of growing to do.
Dennis Smith Jr. There's the jam he was looking for.
Okay. Okay.
That was a monster dunk.
Okay. I ain't mad at you.
Taylor will can the 3 the other way, and the reaction from the crowd happened right as they showed a replay of that shot. So it sounded like the crowd was really excited about that 3 from Taylor.
Right.
But no, that's the dunk of the year from Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah, you don't really expect most of your point guards to come off and be dunking like that.
That foul goes against Stevie Jordan. That's his 4th, but Dennis Smith Jr. We'll get another look as we go to break. Wow! After the break, Andrew Sanders, Chucky Brown back with you here. Dennis Smith Jr., I think it's safe to say that's a SportsCenter top 10 nominee. In fact, I don't know, can we just go ahead and fast track this one right into the top 10? That's like a SportsCenter top 10 guarantee.
Yeah, that one right there was, as we called it on the playground, that was nasty.
And you see the elite level athleticism of Dennis Smith Jr., and this is why he draws comparisons to guys like Russell Westbrook because of that bounce.
Right, yeah, because of that bounce, because of his vision. I think, he's probably more point guard in college than Russell Westbrook was. As Russell Westbrook is really learning how to be more of a point guard now and getting a whole lot better. So I think that athletically, Russell might be a little bit ahead, but not much. They're right on that same level, but that was a unbelievable dunk right there. And you don't expect to see point guards doing that. Not on any level. You don't expect a point guard to be flying out of the gym like that.
And that's why that comparison, what Westbrook is able to do this year, I mean, he's got a triple-double every night.
Right.
That's why that'll make you know, people's eyes get big when you say, yeah, he compares favorably to Russell Westbrook, but he is that athletic of a guard. Little Euro step from Dorn, and he took a third step.
Yeah, he took an extra step. I saw that one. I was wondering if the ref saw it, but yeah, I saw that one. But yeah, the comparisons are real, I think. I think he probably needs to rebound like Russell, but Dennis is not a bad rebounder, though. He just has pretty good rebounders on his team.
He last touched by Ryder and Tyre Marshall. 0-7 got his hand in there. But you can see with Maverick Rowan back, with Omer 0-7 back, and Dennis Smith Jr. coming into his own.
Right.
I mean, he's just a freshman point guard. This team seems to be, I wouldn't use the word peaking, but getting closer to the peak at the right time, right when conference play rolls around.
Right. Well, I see NC State is going to be a serious problem in the ACC because of their depth. They've got size at every position. They've got perimeter people that can pretty much contain other perimeter teams. So I think NC State's going to be a big problem come ACC play.
Dorn will catch and shoot. And that's something we haven't seen much of in this game. Threes for either team, and that's just the second three-pointer for the Wolfpack. Yeah,
both teams have struggled a little bit from the three-point line. I think NC State is a better overall three-point shooting team because they have a guy like Maverick Rowan, Terry Henderson, they can hit the shot, and Dennis Smith Jr. is also getting better at hitting the shot.
Trying to answer the other way, Jimmy Taylor can't hit it. They'll move the ball quickly. Up and under finish from Henderson.
Yeah, see, that's a nice play. A nice way to attack on the break is get the ball to the basket. The shot wasn't there initially, so you give a nice shot fake and attack the rim.
On that three by Torrin Dorn, by the way, NC State now with 3 scores into double figures. An open three knocked down by Anthony Durham.
Yeah, Anthony Durham, that was a nice rhythm three right there off of a dribble drive penetration, and he knocked it down.
And so we spoke about as there's going to be a foul underneath, and Lundy just bumped into here at 7. That's Lundy's first. We talked about how Ryder doesn't get a lot of scoring off the bench, but Durham has now provided 7 points. Here's another look at Terry Henderson. Talk about athleticism.
Nice play. That's a nice play by Terry. A very smart veteran play as well.
Dennis Smith go track that down.
Yeah, Ryder was hoping for a backcourt that time, but in the college rules, the ball, you can take the ball out of bounds and it can go into the backcourt.
Here at 7 looking for his offense. And on the floor, they'll call a foul, and I believe it's going to be Khalil Thomas.
Yeah, Ryder's playing probably a little more physical maybe as far as going after the loose balls, but the officials are calling it. They're trying to get back in the game.
Maverick Rowan will hand off to DSJ. And an offensive foul will be called on the freshman point guard. It's going to be his 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, that time I think he might have swiped at the guy a little bit, and he might have got a little bit of a nudge to try to help him out of bounds, and he might have swiped back, and that's what the official calls. Yeah, you can't slap a guy's hand off you, so I mean that's an easy foul.
That's one I don't think I've seen called.
Yeah.
So it's a 3rd foul for DSJ. And that ball finds its way right into the hands of Norville Carey.
Yeah, well, that's Ryder's game right there. That time there was a nice dribble drive, and the ball got in the paint, missed shot, and Norville Carey is right there to get the ball.
And a Wolfpack turnover. And this is with Dennis Smith Jr. picking up his 3rd foul. Torrin Dorn right now is the point guard.
Right, yeah, I've seen Torrin run some point guard in practice, but once you get in the game, it's a whole different situation. And I think Ryder has seized that. Dennis is out, and there was a little bit of like a half-court trap.
Well, hanging shot, Abu. They'll grab the air ball in transition. Oh, the 7-footer can run the floor.
Nice find right there. Yurt-7 with nice touch in the paint as well.
And important to note, someone we haven't seen tonight for NC State is another freshman point guard, Markel Johnson.
Yeah, I would expect Markel to be in, with the score 18 points. I mean, Markel has played in some good minutes early, so I'm kind of surprised that he's not in the game.
Yeah, averaging just over 22 minutes per contest, but hasn't played yet in this one. Here's Malika Boo. Oh, NC State is throwing down some thunderous dunks tonight.
Yes, that's where you attack the zone, is in the middle of the floor, and that's what they did. And instead of Malik coming down and not looking at the basket, he turned and looked at the basket and saw a lane where he could attack the rim, and that's what he did.
Loose ball. Dorn comes away with it. It's a 4-on-3. Rowan. Basket and the foul.
Yeah, he was moving on that. That's a good call.
And a player is down for Ryder. That's Anthony Durham.
Yeah, I think he hit the back of his head on the floor.
So we'll go to break. NC State assaulting the rim here in Raleigh. NC State leads it by 20 at the break. He's Chucky Brown. I'm Andrew Sanders. Glad to have you back here on the ACC Network Extra. Well, as we told you, Anthony Durham was shaken up prior to that break, able to walk off the court with some help. And you see he's giving them a little extra punch off the bench, but looked like he hit the back of his head.
Right. Yeah, that's dangerous. You hit the back of your head, and things happen to the brain. The brain is very sensitive, as everybody knows. But you gotta be very cautious with this, because you don't want him to go out there playing and then end up getting hurt even more.
Yeah. So Durham on the bench right now. Maverick Rowan going to the free throw line to try and cap off a three-point play. Earlier in the broadcast I mentioned that this is the second ever meeting between NC State and Ryder. And the first one really, well, it's hard to say, it was 9 years ago. 2007 to me at least. I think to most people it doesn't seem like 9 years ago, but it was on November 22nd, 2007. It was in Orlando in the Old Spice Classic, and NC State winning that tournament. They beat Ryder in the first round of that tournament by 9 points. Maverick Rowan. Not fouled this time, but he'll score again in transition.
Yeah, good finish that time by Mav. But yeah, I remember that game in the Old Spice Class. That was a very good game.
Yeah, it was, and it featured a couple of first-round picks for Ryder. Jason Thompson, who went 12th overall to Sacramento, as Jordan cans the J, and J.J. Hickson of NC State, who went 19th overall to the Cavaliers.
Yeah, two guys that have had some really good NBA careers as well. They got some years on them, so they've had some really good NBA careers, and they're still sticking around.
Yeah, Thompson certainly got the better of Hickson in that game. Hickson was just a freshman. And there's a basket and a foul for Xavier Lundy.
Yeah, that's a good way for Ryder to try to get back into this game. It's 10 minutes. Still a lot can happen. Down 19 now. You can make it 18. So Ryder still has to get some stops on the other end, and NC State still has to continue to punish him in the paint.
So Lundy to the line. He's the best Bronc at shooting free throws. And just a hair under 80%. And he makes it.
I thought maybe Ryder might pick up their pressure a little bit before Dennis Smith Jr. came back in the game, but they didn't. Good shot.
Dorn falls down, and he knocks down the long two.
He's actually looked pretty good running the point guard position, and that shows to his versatility.
Well, take by Jordan is no good, and Yurt-7, see, he's a big guy that'll take a couple dribbles with him. Henderson falling away, offensive rebound. There's big number 14.
Yeah, good follow. Standing up at the top of the key, nobody blocked him out. And most big guys, when you're standing up at the top of the key, you're used to crashing. Guards at the top of the key are used to getting back.
Omer Yurt-7 is now the fourth scorer in double figures for the Wolfpack. He's got 10 and 5 rebounds. Little fall away, no good by Thomas. Khalil Thomas, we talked about him at the open of the show. He has been relatively quiet tonight.
Yeah, the size of NC State has bothered him a little bit, but he has definitely put forth a great effort. But sometimes when you're outmatched, you're outmatched. So NC State has great depth that they can rotate, several different bigs on him. So I mean, it's just a tough situation for him.
Dorn and Abu out. Dennis Smith Jr., Ted Capita in. Anderson to the rack, and that's a veteran finish to have the upper body strength to be able to score it even after absorbing that contact.
Yes, that's a veteran move as well, getting it, ripping it through, attacking the basket, absorbing the contact, nice little double pump, and you get your and one, and that's a great job of also not settling for a jump shot just because it was a 22-point game, and now you can make it a 25-point game.
NC State really extending out this lead. And again, this is a Rider team that was picked 7th in the MAC, but with the contributions of Carey, I know they've got a short bench, but the defense that they play and really the addition of the freshman point guard Stevie Jordan as Lundy will splash the three, and they can be better than 7th in the MAC. And this is a team that was hot. They had won 5 in a row before falling to UMass, and so NC State really putting on a show to be up, 20-plus points for most of the second half.
Well, they've gone to a small guard lineup where they put Stevie Jordan at the 2 guard now. He's guarding Terry Henderson. And playing at the 2 guard, he can also create some problems on the other end, which he's probing and trying to attack the paint. So Ryder's not laying down. They're trying to get in it.
Remember, Stevie Jordan has those 4 fouls, and they just couldn't afford to put him on Dennis Smith Jr. with those 4.
Do that, no.
Too much of a responsibility. Yurt Seven's been having a good last couple of minutes. He'll dish it out. Freshman to freshman, not this time. Long rebound will come to Rowan.
Yeah, that's a good shot, though. Inside out is always a good shot.
Yurt Seven. He'll take a contested long 2, and he knocks it down. Again, the big guy can shoot.
Yeah, well, the big guy, he's going to be a problem for the ACC bigs that don't like to come out because he can stretch the floor. In college, he'll be a center, but on the next level, he'll probably be more of a stretch 4, guy that can shoot the 3 and knock down shots. So, I mean, he's going to be a problem to contend with.
Keelan Washington Ives stepped on the sideline. And so we will go to break. NC State 74, the Bronx 47 here in Raleigh. Back here in Raleigh. Hey, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., ACC women's basketball kicks off as NC State plays host to number 2 Notre Dame. It's streaming live on the ACC Network Extra, and watch ESPN. Wolfpack point guard Maya Spencer leading an upset-minded Wolfpack team against the number 2 team in the country and the favorites in the ACC in the Fighting Irish. Welcome back here. Omer Yurt Seven wearing number 14, but interesting story here, Chucky. He actually wanted to wear number 44 when he came to college, and then he realized, oh, that's a special number here at NC State. That's the one you can't wear.
Right. Well, we need to get him to read up on the history of that number, so you know why it's a special number. So I need to when I get a chance to talk to him, I'm gonna ask him, do you know who David Thompson is? Tell me a little bit about David Thompson.
And I think it's interesting too that he's wearing number 14 as Rowan. Oh, he hits a tough shot with some contact. But number 14, also a special number here at NC State. Vinny Del Negro wore that number, but also another Turkish-born player in Engin Atzer.
Yes, Engin Atzer, I believe they're familiar with one another, so that's probably why he chose to wear that number, or chose to wear that number.
A lot of 4s on the court right now for NC State. 14-24 is Rowan, and number 4, Dennis Smith Jr. Yurt Seven, just too much size. Marshall, however, using his positioning to try and shield him off. It'll still be NC State ball.
Yeah, one thing Yurt Seven will have to work on is finishing with contact and being able to absorb a little more contact because when you get to the next level and when you get into conference play pretty much, you're going to have a little more contact when you try to back guys down. So he needs to work on that, get the lower body a little bit stronger and get the upper body a little bit stronger.
He's going to have to heave one up here. And let's face it, It's Capita working hard on the offensive glass. Let's face it, conference play is the next level before the next level.
Pretty much.
Oh, big block by Ted Capita.
Good hustle by Capita.
Taylor wants timeout, and he'll get it. But Ted Capita. So we've seen dunks from Smith Jr. and Abu, and now a block from Ted Capita. Mark Gottfried has got himself some athleticism as we head to break. Capita swats it away. We told you Riders 6-0 and holding opponents under 70. Not going to happen tonight as NC State already 76 points. Andrew Sanders, Chucky Brown with you here on the ACC Network Extra. Chucky, NC State, we talked about the balanced scoring from the Wolfpack. They're the 5 guys that average double figures, and all of them are there except Rowan, who's just a 3 away. And you're at 7 with 12 points, so they have found 5 in double figures in this game, which is the 5th time that's happened this year. In all of last season, it only happened 3 times when they were really carried offensively by Cat Barber. This is just a team with more offensive options.
Yeah, it's a different team. You know, it was very unfortunate for Cat that he was probably the only guy that people were paying attention to and designing defenses to try to stop, and Cat did a great job. But this year you have more weapons, and it would have been interesting to see if Cat would have stayed, you know, what kind of weapons they would have had. But NC State has a lot more weapons that they could go to. Plus, you know, last year it hurt that Terry Henderson got hurt early. That really hurt Cat. You know, you just need another option. And then you had to transfer, I forget the kid, the left-hand kid, Kyle Washington, went to Cincinnati. So that also hurt a little bit as well. Because if you have Kyle Washington, you have Cat Barber, and you have Terry Henderson, you're talking about a Sweet 16 team there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a little bit different this year. You got more weapons, and that, you know, it's a good problem to have for Mark Gottfried when you have all that depth over there. Where if one guy goes down, you have guys that can step in. That's a great problem to have. Now, it might not be great if someone is a little unhappy with their minutes, but it's a great problem for a coach to have, and the coach just has to figure out how to make it work.
You're at 7. Smooth on the free throws, and number 14 has now scored 14 points.
Right.
For NC State, again, they travel to Miami on the 31st, opening up conference play, and they are about as hot as you can be. I know they haven't played, as Marshall is going to be called for, well, no, he was able to keep that pivot foot down there, and you're at 7. Bumped him.
Yeah, it can get a little testy down there. It usually gets a little testy when you're down in the paint. You get to bang a little bit. You know, at some point, the bigs get tired of it, especially when you look up and you're down 26. You don't want to be touched anymore.
And another foul away from the ball. This one is going to be on Ted Capita, and that's 3 fouls on Capita.
Yeah, NC State just needs to continue to play, do what they're doing. Don't get caught up in the extracurricular stuff. Just continue to play.
Look inside. Lundy creates some space and an offensive tip in. It might have been Jordan.
Yeah, they made it easy that time. Yurt 7 came over to block the shot, and his man got the tip in.
Tyre Marshall also there. Here's Yurt 7.
Nice move.
Ryder looking to push the tempo here. Quick little pull-up from Washington Ives, no good. Rebound, and there's Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall's come in to work. You know, he doesn't get much playing time, so now he's going to come in. This is a time where guys that don't normally get to play, you get to play and show the coach for the conference season coming up or for the next game that, hey, coach, I need to be out there playing, and that's what he's doing.
4th foul on Omer, Yurt 7. I tell you what, the big guys, a little contact happened, and then both of them started going right at each other.
Right.
The Bronx will call a timeout here. So 80-56. And Yurt 7 to the bench with 4 fouls. But I tell you what, Ryder, they're 5-3 on the road this year, and they've already traveled. This is a crazy stat.
Right.
11,410 miles.
Right.
That's some frequent flyer miles right there.
Yeah, that's a couple of, that might be a couple of free tickets there. But that also takes a toll on your body as well. You're not staying at home. You're staying in hotels. You have to eat out all the time. Yeah. And that takes a toll on you after a while. And this is this is the end of it, and it's usually at the end of the road trip where it takes an effect on you.
Hey, Friday, we'll just keep on bowling with 2 more games for you on ESPN, starting with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl between Georgia and TCU at noon Eastern. Then at 3:30, it's the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Nebraska squares off against number 21 Tennessee in Nashville. And as always, both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. And I tell you what, sometimes in this business, you get some tough name pronunciations, right? You got to make sure you go over that. But I'm just really proud that I nailed the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl.
Ooh, that's a tongue twister.
That's just a lot. American, some of these bowl games, they've got some names.
Yeah, Franklin American, I'm done with that. So you did a great job. They need to keep giving you those promos, not me.
I tell you what, the Music City Bowl in Nashville, that's an awfully fun one to go to.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's some good eating down there, too, some good barbecue.
Oh, no doubt.
Nice.
Dennis Smith finds Ted Capita and chalk up another assist for the freshman.
Yeah, he went up in the air that time, and when he saw that he couldn't finish the shot, he saw Capita cut into the basket and just dropped it off.
By the way, that's 15 assists for Dennis Smith Jr. now.
Yeah,
that's a Chris Corciani type number to put up in a single game.
Yeah, well, he's got the ability to do it every night. You know, he's got the ability to do it every night, and he's got guys around him. He can also score the ball. So I mean, this guy's gifted, you know, and he's still learning the game. That's the scary part.
Norville Carey answers on the other end. But yeah, we're not even into conference play. This is a guy that wasn't able to play not just high school, but obviously AAU as well last year with that torn ACL, and graduated high school early, came to NC State to rehab it. Rowan is now into double figures. That's 6 Wolfpackers into double figures. And NC State knocking on the door of 90 already.
Yeah, NC State is playing well, playing together, and they really never allowed Ryder a chance to get confident. And right there, that's another great steal. Great hands by Dennis doing it on both ends.
Hey, you can just tell he's feeling it right now. Another 3 on the way. Bang! 19 points, 16 assists for Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah, I tell you, man, the kid has worked on his shot. I saw him maybe a few years ago. He didn't shoot the ball as well, but he's been working on his shot and working on his game, and that really says a lot about him.
As I told you, 10 of 14 on threes in his last 3 games coming into tonight, and tonight he's 3 of 6. So he's shooting it better than 50% in each of those games.
Yes.
NC State not taking the foot off the pedal. Here's Rowan for 3.
Nice putback by Capita. Get back on defense, though, Ted.
A long 2 from Washington. Ives no good. The starter's still in there. NC State still out and running. They're on a quest for 100 tonight as Henderson misses from point-blank range.
Yeah, if I'm a coach, I'm going to be careful, get these cats out of the game now. We pretty much have the game at hand. I wouldn't want anybody to get hurt.
Henderson nearly clothesline. As Carey had to come out and try and close out. But what a performance tonight. It's been a team effort for NC State. 6 in double figures, but 19 points and 16 assists for Dennis Smith Jr. Putting on a show. The #1 point guard recruit in the country and ACC preseason freshman of the year, Dennis Smith Jr., living up to all expectations and, dare I say, exceeding the high bar set for himself coming into the season in a game like tonight. 19 points, 16 assists. I mean, talk about 6 guys being in double figures. That's because he's given them the ball. Yeah, he's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's very active. He sees the floor very well. And like I said, he's still, you know, kind of in that learning curve. So it's kind of going to be real scary when he really starts to figure things out. You know, what he's going to be able to do and get away with. You know, stuff that he can't get away with. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see once he figures this thing out, because he's still really learning the collegiate game.
Yeah. And I think he's probably sending some people scrambling through the record books to see, hey, when was the last time someone had 16 assists?
Yeah, I haven't heard of it from NC State in a long time. I've been around here for a while, so I haven't heard of an NC State guard having that many assists.
Yeah, if someone had 16,
We
it's a
would've
pretty
heard it.
safe bet. It was Chris Corciani.
Yeah.
Second.
Or Monty Tao.
Second, that Monty Tao's a good yeah. But my money would be on the guy who's second all-time in career assist. As Sean Kirk now into the game for the Wolfpack, also into the game for Ryder Xavier Malone, a freshman from Philly.
Right.
Still 2:30 to go.
That was a play that time for a lob for Kirkland, but or Sean Kirk, I'm sorry. And Ryder played it pretty well.
Two players stick with Dennis Smith Jr. He'll shoot over top.
Oh!
Maverick Rowan with the follow-up.
Shooters aren't supposed to do that. Somebody tell Maverick shooters aren't supposed to do that.
Well, you know what? Shooters aren't supposed to be 6'8".
That's true
either.
too. That is true too. I guess when it's going good, it's going good.
They said Maverick Rowan might have grown an inch.
Oh, really?
Over from his freshman year to his sophomore year.
Okay.
Strong take by Marshall, and Tyre Marshall has looked pretty good here.
Yes. Marshall has shown that he needs to be out here playing when conference times come. He played with a little bit of an edge, got a little chip on his shoulder down on the other end. So he's showing the coach like, hey, you know, when conference season comes within these next couple of days, I need to be out there playing.
Another look at the follow-up jam from Rowan, and the crowd here is very excited because the walk-ons have made their way to the floor.
Yeah, it's always good to see the walk-ons. I know I always enjoyed when I played and we got a nice lead. I always enjoyed giving those guys because they work so hard in practice and they work so hard to make you better and get you prepared for the next opponent. And they very rarely get an opportunity to play.
Oh, what a pretty floater from Stevie Jordan.
Yeah, nice.
Tucker Thompson, Chris Brickhouse, and Chris Corciani Jr. now on the floor for the Wolfpack. They'll get Thompson a touch down low.
Nice.
That was a move.
Yeah, that's a nice jump hook. You know, it's nice to come in. And you work so hard in practice, and now you get an opportunity to get in the game and mix it up with somebody else and not have to fight against a guy, your own teammate. And that time he held his ground really well and made Marshall take a off-balance jump hook.
We know the crowd wants a three here.
Off his leg. Yep.
Overplay by Jordan, and Brickhouse can't handle it. You know, interesting story on Stevie Jordan. His dad's got his own reality show on VH1.
Yeah.
Leave it to Stevie.
Leave it to Stevie. Yeah, his dad is a little bit of an interesting character, we'll say. You know, I've watched. He's been on the Love and Hip Hop stuff.
Yeah.
And I've watched it. And he's definitely an interesting character who I'd love to meet because he looks like he'd be a barrel of laughs. So I like to laugh, so it'll be interesting to meet him.
So Stevie Jordan, often featured in that show.
Yes.
Playing in a big arena like this, not going to face him at all. If he's like, hey, I was on TV last night in front of hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, he's used to the camera.
Corciani Jr. will penetrate. Saved in. And it should be a dunk the other way.
Ooh.
And it is from Xavier Malone.
Xavier Malone has some nice spring.
Corciani was tripped.
And he'll shoot. He'll go to the line. Shooting two.
Yeah, that's the 10th team foul on the Bronx. Corciani Jr. actually scored a career-high 4 points last time out for NC State against McNeese State.
Okay.
So, again, this has been a common theme as this NC State team has played better and better.
Right.
The walk-ons have seen more minutes. They've been some blowouts late. This is the case here as Corciani Jr. tries to make it 99.
Yep, well, that's always good to get the walk-ons and, you know, the guys that don't play. It's always good to get them some minutes because you never know what may happen during the season. You never know.
Jordan, strong move right down the lane. Still 9 seconds.
stepped out.
And he stepped on the baseline.
You see, the only bad part about coming in and you haven't played much is you come in and playing with all this energy, you get tired a little faster. I see some wind, some guys huffing and puffing out there, and they've only been out a couple of minutes.
I tell you what, I don't know if there's not some promotion that I don't know about for 100 points because the fans were really looking for it.
Right.
But they'll take a 99-71 final score. NC State improves to 11-2. Rider falls to 8-5. And this is the last non-conference game of the season. We'll roll into conference play from here.
Yeah, it should be very interesting come conference play with NC State. They're playing well. They're sharing the ball. You got 5 guys averaging double figures.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I think NC State was picked to finish like 7th or something like that. It's going to be, I don't think they'll finish that low.
Dennis Smith Jr. stars tonight for the Wolfpack as he has 19 points and 16 assists for our great crew here in Raleigh. And my partner, Chucky Brown, thank you so much for watching